Have you ever noticed something strange about chickens? We eat hens, but not roosters. Why is that? It's not about taste. Roosters are perfectly edible. The answer hides in biology and economics. Hens lay eggs, roosters cannot. That changes everything. A farm needs females, but nature gives equal numbers. Half the chicks are male. The system doesn't need them. So what happens to those male chicks? It's unsettling. This isn't new. Farmers have faced this for centuries. But industrial farming turned a problem into a crisis. The answer starts with one tiny biological difference. Let's begin at the very beginning. So the question becomes, what can you actually do with them? And historically, one answer became unfortunately common. Male chicks were killed shortly after hatching. This is known as male chick culling. It's one of the most controversial consequences of modern egg production. The reason isn't that male chickens are useless animals. It's that the economics of the system make them difficult to use profitably. But humans eventually started looking for another solution. And this is where things get fascinating. What if you could tell whether an egg holds a male or female embryo before it hatches? Then you wouldn't have to hatch male chicks in the first place. Scientists developed technologies known as in ovo sexing. But wait, there's a detail most discussions skip. Roosters get eaten constantly across the world. In France, coq au vin is literally rooster stew. The meat just needs slow cooking to tenderize it. Historically, roosters were prized far beyond meat. So what actually happens to all those male chicks today? The answer is unsettling. Most are killed within hours of hatching. This is called male chick culling, and it happens at industrial scale. Roughly 7 billion male chicks are culled globally every year. That's more than the entire human population of Earth. The practice has drawn fierce criticism from animal welfare groups. But farmers argue there's simply no economic alternative. Until recently, that was probably true. Now technology is changing everything. Most people imagine Stone Age camps as total chaos. But prehistoric humans were obsessed with camp organization. Someone had to handle the waste, the scraps, the mess. That person smelled like meat in a land full of hungry predators. Early humans discovered ash kept bugs away from sleeping areas. Someone gathered and spread that ash every single day. One mistake with human waste could sicken the entire tribe. And someone had to respectfully handle every member who died. Night watch was the job nobody wanted, but everyone needed. One moment of sleep could cost the entire group everything. Many essential jobs in any society stay completely invisible. Think about the modern jobs nobody celebrates until they vanish. Let's shift to a very different kind of story now. This story begins 10,000 years ago in Southeast Asia. A small bird called the red jungle fowl changed everything. It wasn't fierce or fast or impressive at first glance, but it had one trait no other bird possessed. It simply tolerated being near people. Ancient farmers noticed and quietly started keeping them. Generations passed and the birds slowly changed. They grew calmer, they produced more eggs, they reproduced faster than almost any other livestock. Nature and human selection working together by accident. And that tiny partnership would reshape civilization itself. Wanted to do. But sanitation was just one unsung responsibility. Someone also had to process every animal carcass. Skin scraping, tendon removal, bone cleaning, all by hand. This produced hides for clothing and shelter materials. One missed step spoiled weeks of careful work. Then there was water procurement from distant sources. Carrying heavy loads through rough terrain daily. Droughts turned this role into pure desperation. Every community depended on these invisible laborers. Their names were never carved into stone, but their work held everything together. But this story is about more than just chickens. It's about how humans draw lines between animals. We eat some creatures without a second thought. Others feel completely off the table. Think about dogs in Western countries. Most people would never even consider eating one. Yet in some cultures, dog meat has been eaten for centuries. The difference has nothing to do with biology. It's culture, history, and emotional bonds formed over generations. Chickens occupy a strange middle ground. They're food, yet they're also living, thinking creatures. Watch a rooster strut across a farmyard sometime. He has personality, awareness, and surprisingly strong opinions. Wanted to do. And that pattern has echoed through every civilization since. Ancient societies built elaborate systems around this invisible labor. Someone always collected scraps. They maintained shelters and handled things nobody wanted to touch. These tasks were the foundation everything else rested on. The Romans noticed something. Chickens scaled beautifully across their empire. Every civilization wanted eggs. Chickens fit everywhere humans settled. But chicken eggs stayed expensive for centuries. Something had to change. The answer was vitamins. One discovery rebuilt the entire industry. Then came cage systems. Chickens became agricultural production units overnight. One breed dominated everything. The white leghorn became the egg world's champion. Every laying hen required a male chick. Roughly half always came out male. Male chicks from egg breeds grow slowly. They're economically unviable for meat, so the industry simply disposed of them. Billions of healthy male chicks destroyed. Scientists fought back with a revolutionary idea. Find the sex before hatching. In ovosexing detects male embryos inside the egg before the chick develops. This technology could end male chick culling within the next decade. Chicken eggs fed entire civilizations, one predictable breakfast at a time. Every major culture adopted chicken eggs. Romans, Chinese, Egyptians, and Indians all did. Eggs are a nutritional, perfect package. Protein, fat, vitamins, all inside one shell. No cooking was needed to unlock their energy. Almost no preparation at all. Ancient bakers discovered eggs made bread rise. Confectioners found them essential for sweets. Religious traditions adopted eggs as symbols: new life, rebirth, renewal of spring. Medieval peasants relied on eggs year-round. Few protein sources were this reliable. Ships carried chickens on long voyages. Fresh eggs meant sailors survived scurvy. Explorers introduced chickens worldwide. The bird literally conquered the entire planet. Industrialization changed everything again. Backyard flocks became factory operations. Billions of chickens now serve one purpose: produce eggs or grow meat. That brings us back to the rooster. What is his role in this story? Suddenly, picture a rooster standing alone in a golden sunrise, bright red comb dramatically backlit. He's not a villain, but he doesn't fit the system humans designed. Instead, farms and factories keep refining, focusing everything around the hen. Efficiency wins. Every process is streamlined, every resource optimized. The rooster's story fades, replaced by industrial machinery and gigantic stacks of eggs. But in other corners of the world, his fate still isn't certain. Here, roosters still matter. Sometimes for food, sometimes for tradition. Look at ancient artwork and you'll spot roosters as royal symbols and legendary fighters. In some cultures, people even believed roosters scared away evil with their crowing. But as the world grew ever more connected, the hen's quiet productivity outshone the rooster's flair. And so the rooster became a rare guest at modern meals, even as his image survived on clocks, coins, and weather vanes. The real creator of breakfast fades quietly to the background, his legacy living on in stories and symbols. The jobs nobody bragged about held civilization together. One misplaced carcass could doom the entire settlement. Someone decided what stayed and what left. Every scrap had purpose in their survival economy. Nothing went to waste in a world of scarcity. The camp's invisible keeper ensured group survival daily. Modern cities rely on the exact same unwritten rules. We simply outsource the danger to machines now. But the principle hasn't changed at all. Someone always carries the waste away silently. Ancient communities proved this through daily ritual. The oldest profession wasn't glamorous, it was necessary. The Stone Age didn't belong only to the strongest hunter. It also belonged to the person willing to do the job nobody else wanted to do. Invisible workers kept tribes alive in ways nobody ever celebrated. Nobody carved their deeds into cave walls for keeping things clean. But that pattern runs deeper than anyone expects. Every civilization rests on work most people never notice. Modern cities run on the exact same principle, just with more garbage trucks. The tools changed, the invisible labor didn't. And now here's where things take a genuinely unexpected turn. What if that same invisible principle explains something about the food on your plate? Think about the animals that have lived alongside humans for thousands of years. Which species earned a permanent spot at every table, and which ones quietly faded away? The answer circles right back to that invisible principle from the Stone Age. But eventually people noticed the problem. Scientists and farmers alike asked the same question. What if you could know the sex before the chick hatched? That simple question sparked decades of research. The answer they found is called in ovo sexing. So here's the strange truth. The rooster didn't lose because nature rejected him. He lost because humans optimized a machine that only needed half its parts. Every society chooses what to value. Sometimes that choice quietly writes animals out of the story. And the chicken? The chicken became the most successful bird on Earth because it said yes to humanity. When humans offered grains, shelter, and safety, the chicken built an empire on the deal. We didn't just domesticate chickens. We made a deal. And the rooster, he's still waiting for his side of the bargain.